Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Okay, everybody, I think I shall start with 101 is how it's read. Uh, I hope everybody enjoy my lesson. Okay,
Yeah, we will.
okay. Kamesu nipitichaya manasa navilo sila kusalo sapatamana sato buki paripaji. Okay, in short, in English, is saying that let not a bhikkhu be attracted to sensational pleasure. Let him not be mentally stressed. Also, let him be clever in all phenomena and mindful practice self-restraint. Okay, so basically, it's, I have also make some simple translation. I hope everybody can see what I have shown on this file. It's translated as he should not be greedy for the sense of pleasure and be disturbed in mind. Skillful in all things, the monastic should wander mindfully. So it's telling us that we should not be always greedy of sensational pleasure and always keep disturbing our mind and always bear in mind that in the monastery, we should have a mindful way of thinking. So in other way is that it's telling us to have detached ourselves, detachment of all these sensational pleasure, purity of our mind and mindful wandering, the quality of an awakened monk and a practitioner. So this is just as I was wondering, the Kamesu Nijikiya is talking about freedom from craving. So a wise person should not cling to any sensational pleasure, such as sight, sound, taste, and so on. And the purity of minds is talking about the mind should remain pure, unpolluted by greed, hate, and delusion. And of course, we are talking about kusalo sabahamana. So as a layman like us and as a practitioner should be skillful enough to understand the nature of all phenomena, such that to see that this is impermanent, unsatisfactory, and non-self. And always be mindfulness of what we are doing, as this is the garden of the heart. So the moral of this proverb is actually talking about our inner freedom to live in the world but not to be bound by it. So we have to live in peaceful and freedom way. So we always need to guide the mind from desire and impurity, craving, which is talking about tanha, that make the mind heavy, and mindfulness sati make it light. Live with mindfulness and simplicity. Be skillful in Dharma, knowing the path to true happiness. So this was also been taken at the Kuda Sutta under the SN 5.2, which is easily available on the website. So the next point we are talking, the next proverb we are talking about is 102. Tani itani itani pavaniti samuhata uchina mulan tukha sa natitani panapavo. So this Proverbs is talking about more close to talking about the realizing the Four Noble Truths, realizing the Four Noble Truths, and to prevent ourselves from coming into reincarnation in the future life itself. And that is the cause of this suffering, and we need to uproot it as soon as possible. So this in Pali, it was been translated in English that now these have been seen. What lead to rebirth is uprooted. The root of suffering has been cut off. There is no more continuation in existing. So it is telling us that if we were to follow according to Dharma practice and to have a mindfulness of what we are doing, we should be able to uproot our suffering and to not go into reincarnation. So it's the declaration of the Arahant who has won the reach of the complete enlightenment. So this meaning actually is more talking about we have to realize and understand of all these phenomena and the craving that lead us to become in a very bad stage and to destroy us. So we need to uproot all these bad habits and cultivate a good karma. So the morale of this is to understand the nature of the existent removal inherent when craving and attachment are uprooted and suffering will end. So we are talking about true freedom, which is nirvana, meaning there's no more rebirth, complete peace beyond all sorrow. Uh, any question to ask at this point?
So far, so good.
So far, so good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So the next thing we are going to share is 103. Danena sammachariyaya samyamena damena cha yam kateva sukhito honti na cha pacha nutapati. So this is we're talking about more on happy, in which how do we able to express our self happiness and how not to restrain ourselves and self-control in order to achieve the happiness. Otherwise, if we miss the opportunity, we will regret afterwards. So in other words, as what is being translated, we are throughout giving right conduct, restraint, and self-control, One, act in a way that bring happiness and bring no regrets thereafter. This is an expression of one core ethical teaching of the Buddha, showing how true happiness arises from generosity, dana, virtue, sila, restraint, and sayama, and self-control that is called dharma. So the meaning as given here is very straightforward, and we are all talking about self-restraint, giving dana generously, and having good contacts, and one become happy and peace. So the proverb of this moral story is talking about happiness arise from doing good, not from selfish gain. So I believe everybody also will share with me the same thing, that when we share with things with our friends, with our neighbor or our relative, we feel happy in a way that everybody share together and they feel happy. I think that is what we can see even in ourselves, that we don't control whatever we want to do, and we share it openly with whatever we can. And that talking about a pure heart bringing peace in this life and the next. So always true that, in my opinion, that true joy leave no regrets behind. So it also helped me to reflect myself very clearly that this proverb actually uh, talking about the quality of happiness we are looking for. I believe everybody also wish to look for quality happiness, which is one of our direction that as a lay person, when we are following Dharma or we are following Buddha itself. So this is actually a sort of bringing pleasure to us without regards later, because craving is creating it's not a good sign, and it's always in a competition and always can harm us. So happiness always come together with goodness, generosities, and restraint in its pure. So it definitely bring us joy and leave the heart light afterwards. So with all this generosity, goodness, and able to communicate well with people, we are also creating an inner happiness and freedom from regards that we do not say miss out anything that we don't share with people. And by sharing with people, sometimes we may create the other party also feel happy for you. It's just like they feel they are also being blessed or being taught something good thing about what is all about life and the compassionate way of doing things. So the under this proverb itself, under the Jataka, yes, JA 494 or 545, is the story of the Buddha past life when he was born under the Bodhisattva, and he's as a wise saga, he would live peacefully in the forest, guiding others with wisdom and compassion. A king once visited him, seeking the secret to be happy and regards free life. So the saga replied with these words: true happiness doesn't come from wealth or power, but from giving, virtue, and self-control. So by hearing this, the king reformed his life, ruled with justice, and was loved by his people. So in the next Proverbs 104, it reads as Nita Sili Sa Pa Sili Anutata Chayo Naro Alapso Kota Panano Tam Paripato Mukam. Uh, this is a proverb that talking about a lay person or a practitioner always go like to sleep a lot, talking a lot, or so-called gossiping, idling, lazy, and always get angry when this lead to rule his life. So when we are in this present life, we should not be lazy, we should not gossiping, we should not be idle and lazy and get angry ourselves. So the whole story is all about talking about ourselves. So it is translated as the man who is fond of sleep, fond of company, lazy, not diligent in action, who is invisible and lack of wisdom. This is the path of downfall, which is to say that you live your life without meaning. You're wasting your life in this present life. So this is whereby Buddha always point out that the trial that bring failure in both worldly and spiritual life. So we have lost everything of what we are living in this world. So the meaning and for each word, nita sili is actually talking about love sleeping and habitually lazy and sleepy. And this is what I have translated using the internet to find out the meaning of each word. So the moral actually is talking about the proverb is that we should not be always be lazy, sleepy, and we should always try to wake up early to make full use of the time and live mindfully in the whole days or whole time when we are in this present world. And choosing good company is very important because with good company, we are able to learn more things and able to mix and able to cultivate good habit from good friend. Whereas if you were to mix with bad company, you will learn all the bad thing. And that's where we are talking about a bad karma will come along with you. So choosing the right company, choosing the right companions to grow with you together is very important in our present life. And taking initiatively in wholesome action, that means do good thing and helping people, and train all the mind to be calm and wise. This is the whole morale of this proverb is about that we should not waste our time. We should able to conduct our character properly. So this will also will lead us a life of prosperity and peace. Next, I will go into 105. Da jo rata sa pananam tu mo pananakamikimono raja ratasa pananam pata pananamititiya. So uh, this is a bit, how should I say, rather a bit not easy to understand when I first to read this proverb. And even in English, I was still wondering what is the right way to make the explanation. So I did some research on it, and it mentioned that in those days, we are talking about smoke, fire, and what does all this represent in those days? So it's very pretty interesting subject, topic, interesting proverb to understand in detail actually. So it's also translated in that the flats proclaim a quiet, smoke with the presence of fire. The king is a symbol of a nation. The husband, the mark of a woman, which means that in those days, a woman is always represented by their husband and not by themselves. Unlike in this present world, uh, woman is woman, man is man, and we don't talk about the husband will represent them everything. So in present life, most women will speak for themselves. So we call it their own freedom way of speaking. So this proverb is actually talking about in those days itself, what is happening. So the first line, Tajo Ratasa Pananam. So it's talking about the flag identified the Troy. That means it's a flag that is having, when they flag the thing, it represents something. It may be a fire or maybe something happening from the mountaintop. They can see something happen. So it definitely tells us that uh, someone is coming to attack us or something is happening far, far away. So actually, in Dharma way of explaining is that it's representing a character or a conduct. So it means that a person's speech and action reveal their mind. So it can tell from the action and the mind of the person when they talk, who are this person. So Buddha always believed that your actions are the flag of your heart. And Dubo Patnanam Agino is a smoke, is the sign of a fire. So it's quite common, even in our this society, where we see a smoke, we believe that it's a fire. So this is very normal thing happening. But in the Dharma explanation, it's always said that smoke represents visible sign of the inner flame, like generosity, patience, and compassion. So fire is in Buddha means is wisdom, panat, and spiritual energy as viraya. So the smoke is the good that arises from it. So the third one, we're talking about Raja Ratasa Panyana. The king is the sign of the nation, which I believe that in this present world, uh, the president or the prime minister is always representing the nation itself. So this is a sort of a leader that is able to lead the country. So the fourth one, the husband is the mark of a woman. So in those days, the woman always will stand behind the man or the king, whatever, because that king or the husband always the representing of the whole household member, whatever they're talking about. So in other way, they believe that the husband should be symbolized as a virtue, discipline, and have the inner guidance, that the protector of the heart of the family home member itself. And in another way, the woman will symbolize as a faith and devotion to the husband. So this is also a reflection of the, before I go to this, yeah, reflection. So it's actually invite us to look at what reveal our true state. Our action actually reveal our thoughts. Our virtue reveal our wisdom. Our mind reveal our whole world. So there is a balance between the faith and wisdom in the maturity of our practice. So in 106, we are talking about Dhamma Ramo, Dhamma Rato, Dhammana Anubitsintaya, Dhamma Anusaram Bhikkhu Saddhamam Na Parihayati. So this is sort of a kind of uh, how shall I say this in a way whereby even a monk or even as a layman, they take joy in the Dharma. They enjoy it, they like it so much. And even in their meditation, they believe that the Dharma is always in behind them and supporting them, and always keep in their heart, even in their heart or in their sleep. They always believe there's a Dharma, they're always behind them. And he will never fall away from the true path, meaning to say that he believes that the true path will lead him to Nibbana and will never fall out of the track, and he will keep his heart in that manner itself. So to say that a devotee or a monk have to stay firm root in the path of the truth of Dharma. So I also translate some of the words in English. What does that mean? Such as Dhamma Ramo, it means that one who delight in Dharma. That means one who like Dharma a lot and having Dharma as his refuge or home. And you find that this Dharma is just like a place for pleasure, a joy, and everything's for him. So it's a place whereby everybody wish to look forward to that. So it comes to the moral that of this proverb is that the rejoice in Dharma. They like the Dharma and not in the worldly pleasure. That means it's not talking about craving for anything, looking for something, fighting for something for their own benefit itself. So it's also telling us that Dharma will actually help us to reflect and remember our teaching daily and be mindfulness and contemplation, keep one heart pure and strong. So to say that Dharma bring lasting happiness to us and it will never fade away. So this also comes with the story of Tira Dhammarama, and it was also found in this verse 364 of the book itself. One of the profound and practical summary of the Buddha message about living with the Dharma as one home, joy, and constant reflection was referring to Tira Dhammarama, who lived with the Dharma at the center of his heart and mind. So this is where he can find refuge and joy in Dharma and not in the worldly pleasure. And he often reflects and contemplates the Dharma repeatedly, deepening his understanding. And he remember and live the Dharma daily, letting it guide through and speak and action. So this is whereby it is very important that our mind need to be mindfulness and pure. Next, we come to 107. Nati loke raho nama papa kama pakupato pasa pasanti vina puttani tambalo manani raho. So if we were to translate it in English, it's telling us that there is never a secret that can be hidden from anybody, because sooner or later everybody will see it. It's just like a piece of paper cannot wrap over a fire. A fire is that means it can be lie or secret. So it is telling us that never believe that a paper can wrap the fire, which is I believe some of them can understand. So we cannot lie to ourselves, we cannot keep a secret of anything that we have done, wholesomely or unwholesomely. So there is no secret place in the world for one who commits evil deeds. The spirits and beings of the forest can see it. The fool merely think it is hidden. So we believe that everything can be hidden, but in true facts, there's nothing can be hidden in this world. Sooner or later, things will be exposed out. So in this teaching is telling us that the truth that no evil deed can ever be truly hidden. Even when done in secret, it is always seen by the nature law and witnessed by the wise. So it's also telling us that no wrongdoing can be truly concealed. Even if one hide from human devas, spirits, and one own conscience see and know the truth, especially if we committed something is unwholesome. Our conscience will always telling us that we have done something no good. So how can we hide from our own heart itself, from our own mind? There's no way we can do this. So a foolish person who always think that he can hide evil, but nature, karma, and the unseen being can witnesses this thing. So the moral of this Proverbs is telling us that no wrongdoing can ever truly be hidden. The nature law of Dharma see everything. The wise live purely in both secret and public. Integrity means being good even when no one watch. So there is a story behind of this proverb that is talking about Jataka JA 305. So in the past life, this Bodhisattva was born as a wise Brahmin advisor to the king. So the king wanted to test the virtue of his ministers. He sent them each on errand with order not to be seen, and told them to do something secretly if they could. Every minister thought no one will see them and committed small act of wrongdoing, stealing food, lying, and harming animals. But the Bodhisattva refused. He said, even if humans do not see me, the devas, the spirits, and my own conscience do. There is no secret place for evil deeds. The king was deeply impressed and declared that truly this wise one is virtuous even when unseen. So we always have to bear in mind that our conscience is the true witness. So we should not always try to hide any secrets from the beginning itself. So even I realized that in my nature of my work, I try to hide a secret, but somehow hiding too many times secret, I always forgotten what I have hide and what I have not hide. So people will realize that you are not genuinely true to them and sincere to them. So this is a very important thing that we should do and a very good lesson I've learned during the working time. So we will go to number 108. Am I going too fast? Please let me know.
No,
No, okay, all good.
Okay. So let's go to 108. Na mana kamasa damo ihati na mo na mati asamahistasa eko arane viharamato na maku he yasa taraya param. Okay, is when we are talking about this Proverbs, he's talking about one who is hastily, has no self-control, one who waver gain no knowledge, a careless person, in spite of his living alone in the forest, can never cross over the rim of death. So I find it a bit difficult to understand well about this. Uh, so it's talking about more about ourselves. I realize that, and it's also translated in this manner. There is no self-restraint for one who is full of pride and desire. So it is pretty true that I realize that when one person is full of pride and desire, we have no self-control of ourselves, how we want to talk, how we want to present ourselves. So this is something that is very true that as a human being itself. So it's also telling us that no true silence from one who lack of concentration. So if one person doesn't have the full concentration, it doesn't mean anything. So you are not able to do a proper work, proper job. So even though you are living alone in the forest, which is full of silence, but you do not come with the mind of concentration, nothing can be done. So it becomes heedless. So whether you are in the forest or you're in the jungle where there's no human big contact and nothing else, but if the mind is not concentrating on what you want to do and still feeling the self of pride and desire of anything, so it comes to the point to say that you can't even cross the rim of a death or to the next shore, meaning that you can't even thinking about able to cross over to living a new life of a next life in Nibbana itself. So you will still stay where you are, meaning to say that you are basically there's no improvement of yourself because you always think of your own pride and desire. So it is come to a sense that the true peace and mastering arising only in the mind that is humble, concentrate, and mindful. You are able to cross over the rim of the death. So this is a more to the meaning of each word they use in the proverb itself, which I can be shared together where it's uploaded. So the moral of this proverb is talking about humility in the ground of self-mastery. So we have to so-called a self-control of ourselves in order to have the samadhi concentration, which can bring genuine peace and not mercy, and not just because you think you're in the silent area, a jungle or forest, you think you can able to concentrate, but it's not true. So you need to know about controlling yourself in order to achieve the genuine peace. Hence, mindfulness and vigilance are the true refuge even in solitude without inner discipline. So we are talking about ourself, our self mastery. So without even our self control. So our inner discipline is without our inner discipline, the outer seclusion cannot be free from one from death and rebirth. So it actually telling us that we need to have a self control and have our inner discipline to control ourselves so as to able to free our mind and to achieve our happiness and what we want to do and free from going into reincarnation. So there is also a story talking about the Devata Samyutta under the SN 1.1.9. there was monks who doing their outward aesthetic life, and these devas realized that some of these monks are not truly tame. They are still wandering, their mind are still wandering everywhere and are not able to do the full concentration. So this is where Deva approached the Buddha, telling them that the spirit, they look like they are very peaceful, very humbling, but their mind are not concentrating. So there is no true perfection of living a peaceful mind. So let's come to 109. Na parisam vilomani. Na parisam kata katam. Atano vi avekeya. Katani katatani ksa. This is, I think, in our daily life and daily encounter, we see people uh, try to pinpoint your mistake, try to say that you're doing this no good, doing that no good, and always bothering you while you're at work or you're doing some other thing. So the whole problem of this telling us is that MYOB. So I believe you all understand what I mean by MYOB. Mind your own business. So in the Proverbs itself, during Buddha time, it's so talking about don't bother about what other people are doing. Look at yourself, reflect yourself. It's more important than talking about other people, because if you are not able to finish your own work, you're not able to manage yourself well, you have no right to tell some other people or your colleague or your friend that you're not doing this right and not doing this right. So actually you're wasting a lot of time on all these activities rather than to focus on yourself. So this is also part of our daily life that we can encounter at times. So in English, let's not one seek out the fault of others or what others have done or left undone. Rather, let one of ourselves reflect on what has been done and left undone. So it's telling us, mind our own business. We should reflect on ourselves and we should finish our work and completely and nicely and perfectly. So it's talking about self-reflection and restraint from judging others. So the meaning of this parisam vilo magni actually is don't look for other fault, which in Buddha always frequently tell us that upavadama, fault finding. So we should not be always finding fault on other people, but we should always look at ourselves first. This is very important. So it's also talking about that not concerning you, you should not be getting involved, but to focus on what you should be doing correctly. So when you see another doing wrong, guard your own heart well, meaning to say that when we see someone is doing something wrong, we should not follow him and we should look into it ourselves, that we should not have this problem also. So observe ourselves is very important because this is a very wide reflection of ourselves so that we know where we are and not talking about other people. So it's very important to be right mindfulness about ourselves and right effort to be going to it. So the moral of this proverb is actually talking about spending energy instead of spending energy on judging and criticizing others. So one should turn inward, reflect on one's own action, both wholesome and unwholesome. So it's always talking about ourselves and reflecting on what we have done and what we have not done in our own, and not to criticize on other people. So it's also foster a kind of mindfulness, compassionate, and personal growth rather than blaming and gossiping. Because wherever we try to find fault with others people, we start to be very distracting and we start to get angry and we start to have a lot of dispute. So this is not a very clean atmosphere where you're working together with your colleagues, together with your neighbor or your sibling together. So we always try to be look at the angle of ourselves and put ourselves in their shoe to look at things how it to be done. So self-examination is very important in this world. So there is a story behind of all these things itself under the Dhammapada Atthakatha, whereby this one of the monk is always like to criticize others in the monastery, and but neglecting his own practice. So he spent most of the time watching the new monk, pointing their error, telling them what is their mistake and shortcoming of their fellow monk. So Buddha heard about this because some of the monks complained to him. So one day Buddha talked to this monk called Tisatara and told him that not to do anything on this thing because it is not a very healthy for is because looking instead of to your own action, for that is how one purify oneself. So it is telling the monk Tissa Thera that take care of his own mind, take care of his own work in order to purify himself. So after hearing this teaching, the monk became deeply mindful and later attained the Sotapatti, the first stage of enlightenment. Okay, let's look at 110. Pamadam Payato Disava Apamatacha Ke Mato Pavetati Takaki Kam Mangam Esa Pakha Nusasani. Seeing the danger of carelessness and the security of the carefulness, let a man develop his mindfulness on the Noble Eightfold Path. This is a form of Buddha teaching. So it's simply telling us that seeing heedlessness is danger and heedfulness are safety zone. So once you develop the Noble Eightfold Path, and this is a form of a teaching from Buddha. So it come back to our training. in our level 1 and level 2, we're talking about the Noble Eightfold Path, which we have learned for it quite some time ago. And I try to recap this in this slide itself also. So there you are. So we have to so-called cultivate this Noble Eightfold Path. Right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. And this is telling us that without this Noble Eightfold Path, we are not able to act heedfulness as a safety way of doing things. And we will always encounter so-called heedlessness, which is very dangerous in terms of living together without mindfulness and allowing greed, hatred, and delusion in the rule of our mind. So with the Noble Eightfold Path, we are able to avoid this heedlessness, which is a sense of a danger to us. So we should always looking for heedfulness as a safety zone. And this has been taught by Buddha in the Dharma lesson itself. And we should always try to remember this Noble Eightfold Path wherever we can in our daily life. So, in the moral of this proverb is actually the mindfulness is the guardians of life. Heedlessness is the root of downfall. Walking the Eightfold Path with awareness is lead to peace. The essential of Buddha teaching is apamada, mindfulness and wisdom. So it's also come in the story of from this Kariyapitaka. So one of those lives, the Bodhisattva constantly reflect on how carelessness, rule good deed, and mindfulness, due diligence bring true safety. He lived every day carefully, fullness duty, avoiding evil, cultivating good, and maintaining awareness, even in a small action. And this is how he able to attain enlightenment. And the Buddha summarized his long journey with this verse. All perfection arise from due diligence, apamada. So you can see from this picture, this monk was walking toward the Noble Eightfold Path. And where you can see on the left side, there are people who are lazy, people who are chasing each other to games and everything and never follow accordingly. And on the right side, you can see people are doing meditation, focusing, and concentration. So it's a path that where we want to choose is very important. Okay, we have another four more to go, and hopefully I can finish in half an hour time. Piyanam adasanam tukham apiyanacha dasanam dasama piyam na piyarata piyapayo hi papako. Uh, this is rather, how should I use the word? Says, I believe the majority of people, uh, or all of them, have their loved one, and you also have someone that you don't like at all. So this proverb is actually telling us that when our loved ones separated from us for whatever reason, we feel pain, we feel very swallow. We feel very, oh, our heart is suffering like that. Whereas when we see someone that we don't like on the street or in the working place, it's also a kind of suffering to us. And what is all this all about? I always wondering that. Seeing loved one departing us, seeing loved one go away, just like boyfriend and girlfriend, and seeing someone that you don't like at all, you feel suffering. Why they are suffering, whether it's good or bad, people that you like to see. So this is where I think where Buddha always tell us that one should not make anything dear. So I believe you can understand what is the meaning that don't make everything dear. But to able to understand what this can happen to us, whether it's good or bad, it can bring sorrow to us, which is doesn't good for our mindfulness, which is talking about happiness itself. So the Proverbs actually does, but this proverb does not mean that not to love, but to love wisely without cringing. So loving someone, whether your immediate family member, your friends, we should love it wisely and not cringing to it that it belong to me forever. There's no such thing as impermanent. So we should love with compassionate and equanimity. So it's called upeka. So love someone doesn't mean that you need to cringe onto it. You have to love it wisely. So it is a reflection of the nature of impermanence, loss, and the freedom found in non-attachment. So in other words, when we clinch on to what we like, we can also receive what we dislike. So whether we like or we don't like, we are also feeling the suffering itself in this proverb. What I'm trying to say. So the moral of this proverb is to love without clinching, care without control. That I think is saying is easy. To practice is always very difficult as a lay person itself. So we should always look all things dear as impermanent, even those we cherish them most. So the wise love with understanding, not with gapping. Freedom from attachment is the highest peace that we can get. So it's also another way to say that from affection arise swallow, from affection arising fears, because we fear they lose them itself. And one who is free from affection, there is no sorrow and no fears on it itself. So the reflecting point is that attachment is a sense of swallow. What we hold tightly will one day slip away. True love is freedom and not possession. To love without cringing is to love like the Buddha, with compassionate and not craving for it. Understanding the impermanent brings peace. When we accept change as the nature of life, grief softens into wisdom. So the last point is detachment is not coldness. So it is telling us that doesn't mean that I ignore you, I don't care about you. It's called coldness. It's actually the maturity of the heart that can love without the fears of loss. So in one of the story that is in the book is that the lady loved her son very deeply. When he died unexpectedly, she was overcome with grief, cried days and nights, unable to eat and sleep. I believe this happened to any one of you who, when their loved one had passed away, we couldn't sleep, we couldn't have sleep well. Our mind is full of the past and what we have done before and what we have gone through together. But Buddha seeing this in a different way. He explained that swallow arise from attachment. This is what happened to us in a human being. So we should not have attachment. We should not cling to anything. So separating from a loved one always brings suffering. So we should not have all this kind of practice. So we should able to let go our attachment that one can find peace and also to be mindfulness and focus on some other thing that is more meaningful rather than to keep on attached to it and cling to it. After all, everything is already over. So let's come to 112. Makuna pa tahato loko parikito jarayacha anati nichamatano patatano tado va takaro. Uh, this is also like our daily life that we encounter. It telling us that the world, all being, is always struck by death. We will die, we will leave the world one day. So meaning to say that death is certain, is obviously, but and is always unpredictable and unavoidable for death. We are always surrounded by old age, just like a prisoner is surrounded by the guards. It is something that we are being struck down again and again without protection and refuge. It's just like a criminal waiting for his execution. Everyone live under the same inevitable sentence, death. So in our this life or in this present world, no one can avoid death. Even though you are healthy or not healthy, death is part of our life, part of the ongoing of a human being. But one thing for sure, death is certain, but it's always unpredictable and we'll never know when it comes. So we need to know that to remind ourselves that death and old age is always surrounding us and it will never go away. So there's no such thing as you can live forever long as you wish. So the moral of this proverb is telling us that the time of death is uncertain. Death is certain, meaning to say that when we will die, or when we will disappear from this world, nobody to know. But for sure, death is definitely certain and part and parcel of our life. So youth, health, and possession cannot protect us from mortality. Knowing this, the wise people will live mindfully, cultivate Dharma instead of worldly delusion. So we should think of what we should do daily, mindfully, to take up our time wisely, to spend time with family wisely, and not to have any attachment on it itself. So there is also a story talking about Venerable Suri Thera was once a rich man in his late life. surrounded by luxuries and family. However, he witnessed the death of many loved ones and realized that no wealth or power can prevent aging and death. So to say that he renounced the world and become a monk under the Buddha. Through meditation and contemplation and impermanence, observing how the body decay and how life passes like a flame. So, another word to say, the world is ruled by death and decay. No one can escape. Not a thief catch and punished by his own deed, even though it's not punished by anything. So, this will be the last second one. Yam la buddhi na tina tu sati yam patati la tham ileti ichahit anatago chara vigata chamanam namo karo matse. This is also very related to our daily life in most cases. Uh, a person who have never get satisfied what he get, or when he gets something from someone, he will ask for more. And there's no limits on what he wanted. So it's a very big, very interesting proverb that remind myself we have to be very contented what we have and not asking for more and more. So here is the translation. What one gets, one is not contented with. What one desire when gain is despair. Desire range endlessly. Homage to those who are free from craving. This is a very deep reflection on the endless craving called tanha, that blind being to dissatisfaction and suffering. So when we keep on craving for something, we will never feel satisfied. And it's always a suffering that we feel that it's not enough. So it teaches us that desire never ends with attainment. It's simply shifting and multiplying more and more. And the true peace only arises when craving ceases. Hence, the Bodhisattva honored those who had transcend desire, for they alone knew that genuine contentment, satuti, the joy of enough. So the meanings of each line as written over here. So the moral and the reflection, I put something over here. So we should look deeply at the nature of wandering, craving. Desire promise happiness, but deliver only momentary satisfaction. That means when we receive something, it's only a momentary satisfaction. And it will follow with something else. Some even, I have also encountered some people will say that I got something from you. So can I have just one more thing and I shall be very happy. I believe you guys may have heard something like that. Uh, can I have one more thing and I will be very, very happy. Is this what we want? Is this called greedy? So it comes to the point that there's never enough for us. So peace never comes through accumulation. Desire is endless. Containment is freedom. So the more we crave, the less we enjoy because we doesn't know how to enjoy whatever we have. We always think of more and more and more and never realize what is called happy. So as Buddha has taught us that true happiness comes not from getting, but from letting go. So we will feel happy when we let go something. We are able to offer to people something. We feel the satisfaction, we feel the happiness after letting go or giving to some people. This is called dana. So the heart open to contentment. So we must know how to contain ourselves. A calm, unshakable joy that is not dependent on possession, praise, and pleasure. So always remind ourselves that the unshakable joy come not on the possession what we have, or that someone give you the praise on it, or the pleasure itself. Important that you must able to let go whatever we have. So to be free from craving is to dwell from nibbana here and now. A mind untouched, untroubled by wanting or untouching by losses, free from craving, live without fears and swallow and restlessness. So a wise person will have so-called satuti, containment, and vikika, circulation of the heart, whose hearts are cold, steady, recent, and will go beyond the fire of desire. So there is also another story by Jataka 244 under Vikaticha Jataka. So it's talking about a king came to see a Bodhisattva, wearing off his endless burden of ruling. I have everything, wealth, power, family, yet my mind is not at peace. The Bodhisattva replied with this verse, teaching that even the king and the god are unsatisfied when craving rule them. True happiness lies not in possessing, but in letting go. Hearing this, the king renounced his throne and devoted himself to the path of Dharma, realizing peace is simplicity. Okay, now we shall come to the last one. Yatha hi ankasampara bodhisattva rato iti eva katasu santisu bodhisu satoti samati. Uh, we are talking about a human being that what form human being, what form a man. It comes with many structural to be assembled together in order to fulfill as a being. So it's just like our mind, our sense, our feeling, our thought, all these come in together as one and not as an individual. So what this Proverbs trying to tell us is that just as when parts are assembled, the word choice is used. So it's just like a car. Without all the assembly parts, it will never call a choice car. It will call as spare part, not as a complete car. So when the aggregates are present, there is the convention of a being. So we are talking about the truth of non-self. It expresses how what we call a being or a person is mostly a conventional designation, samuti, for a collection of impermanent elements, the five aggregates that come into us. So this is a chart we are talking about. Ankasampara is talking about assembly part. Satorato iti, the term chart is called, the name of the thing itself. Katasu, satisu, where the aggregate exists, where these five aggregate talking about a form, feeling, perception, formation, consensus are present like a human being. Without all these come into it together, we are not called a being. So to say, being the term being is used by convention. A person, I, or self, or mostly a conceptual label. It's just a label. I is just a label. It's nothing else because without the five aggregate, we will never have I, the word or self in our words itself. So the concept of self or person is only conventional, not an ultimate truth. It's just like a trot a car. Is not found apart from its wheel, axis, yoke, and other components. Yet when these parts come together in certain way, we call it a trot or a car. So same for a human being itself. Without the five aggregates, the form, feeling, perception, mental formation, consensus, we will never call ourselves as a being or a self. So we have to remember that what we call I, me, and mine is nothing. It's just a convenient term to use to describe ourselves, and it's not an ultimate truth. Clinging to the idea of I, mine brings suffering. So there's always a way people say that it's mine, this is not yours. We are always talking about I, me, but we don't see that we are not actually belong to ourselves. We are actually used as a term, not an ultimate truth of ourselves. So we have to understand that we need to cling less fiercely to our body, to our possession, and our opinion. Freedom arises when one no longer identified with the aggregate. We become gentle with others, understanding that we too are not fixed self and living process just like us. Fears of death lessen, for there is no unchanged I to die, only the continuation of cause and effect. So this is one of the story from Sayutta Nikaya. Okay, that is my presentation for today. Thank you very much. If anything, please let me know if I did not do well. Thank you very much.
Well done. Thank you for your presentation, Human. I think we would like probably if you can to have a copy of your slide as well. I think you should not have any problem with that, right?
Mhm. Sorry, Long P, can't hear you.
I'm so very sorry because right now it's raining very hard.
Oh. Can
uh,
find that
I also had
Newman did
a
a
hard
good
time.
job.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Thank you very much.
Very well prepared and very enjoyable. And you set the standard for us.
I hope not.
Yeah, I was thinking, oh no, 15, how to do? How to complete 15? Oh no.
Yeah, it was very tough. I find it's to understand, not just to read and by English the translation, but to understand the whole proverb and to find some relevant information to explain is a very tough thing.
Yeah, agree. Oh.
So I try
So
to use
can
our normal daily life in the expression of all these proverbs that come along to us together.
Yeah. You did. I enjoyed that part. You link it to our daily life. Make things like very touchable.
Yeah, we can think deeper into it that in our daily life, such things also happening, but rather than to read from there and then we are not able to see what to both to be seen actually.
Yes. Well done, Yuman.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, after I see Yuman, then I think, oh, it's not easy, yeah. Long P when Long P have the class, Long P also have to do all this. And then when we start doing, I think, oh no, so much to prepare. Thank you so much, Long P. Thank you so much, Yuman.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Mine is next month. Oh no. I have to start preparing now.
Yeah, Yuman, how long you take to prepare this?
I started last week.
Oh,
Wow.
Last Thursday, I start preparing, and then Sunday I continue to do, and then I try to catch up the last few days, finish everything.
well done. Excellent.
Okay, thank you.
I have to start
So,
preparing now.
Long Pi, so you want the slide for everything together?
Yeah. And if you can give us some information about your reference, like your website,
Okay. So I will send it to you in that case.
Thank you so much for your presentation.
Okay.
All right, I
No
think
problem.
we will probably have to stop here and we'll meet each other next week. Okay. All right, thank you so much.
Okay.
We pray for grace and blessing.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you
Long
very much.
Pi.
Thank you.
Thank
Goodbye.
you, Long Pi. Thank you, Yuman.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Long
you.
Pi.
Bye-bye.
Bye. See you, Long Pi.